she wasn't
All right.
feeling last night.
We're live being recorded. Welcome everyone to the Davis County Council meeting, April 18th, April 8th, 18th. We'll do the pledge of allegiance. First on the agenda is the minutes from March the 11th. They're in your packet. Any corrections or additions, changes? If not, a motion to approve.
So moved.
So moved by my partner here. Second by Tom. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Board appointments, terms ending on June the 30th. Well, I had it here. Good to go. All right, go ahead. You got it pulled up? Go ahead and read it. It's not in my packet.
Okay, I can read it.
I'm on one, Economic Development Commission. They may require a council member. Oh, but you're. It's just. It's in here.
You want me to read them for you?
I think
That'd be fine.
it wasn't in June
Okay.
30th.
For the county council board appointments, we have the Alcoholic Beverage Commission, Natalie Smith. Advisory Plan Commission, that would be you, Tony. Bennington Levy Board, Mike Sprinkle. The BZA, Jeremy Tooley. Community Corrections Advisory Board, Marilyn. Davis Community Hospital, Pete Parsons. Susek Otto, Tony. Kent Norris, Tyson Wagler. Davis County Economic Development Commission, Mike Myers. Are you on EDC, Mike?
That's what it says.
Huh? Okay. Davis County Park Board, Mike Kavanaugh and Kim Herberts. Davis County Redevelopment Commission, Mike Haley. Odin Winklepike Library, Debbie Lawyer. Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals, Grant Schwartzentruber. Regional Mental Health Advisory Board, Darren Holder. Southern Indiana Development Commission, Tom Schaefer. Washington Carnegie Library, Edwin Luke Dayton. And Washington Economic Development Commission, Tom Richardson. Any questions or comments on that board? I can make a motion to approve those.
I'll second it.
Motion by Matt, second by Tom. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
One thing I'll mention, I'm off here at the end of the year. I don't know if that requires a council member or just an appointee by the council. So obviously, if it requires a council member, then I turn into a pumpkin at midnight on the 31st of December. So
It just runs to the end of the year. I think.
just the end of the year. Okay. So
Next up, Sheriff's Department Retirement Plan. Gary?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, this is something that we've never had to present to you before. The information's always been available to you through Gateway. But because of one bad actor, the state of Indiana has decided to make all 92 counties do this. So this is Mary Dishman. She's from German American Bank.
Thank
They
you.
have our retirement funds invested
Thank you.
there. So she'll be giving you the presentation, what you need to know. Okay, thanks.
Good morning. As Sheriff said, this law came into pass July 1st of 2025. We have to just come and present the health of the plan to the county council. And so what you have on your paper, I'm just going to go through. All this information is available in Gateway and then also in the actuarial report, the valuation report that the sheriff and the merit board get and see every year. So the retirement plan, we're going to talk about who all are the parties involved with the police pension plan. That is obviously the Davies County Sheriff's Merit Board. We have the Davies County Sheriff Department. Trustee and investment manager is us at German American Wealth Advisory Group. Thankfully, we've had that plan for a long, long time, and we appreciate that. And then the actuary who actually puts all these numbers together is McCready and Keene, who is now October 3. So they are the actuary for every county in the state of Indiana except one. So I'll let you figure that out. The retirement plan, key metrics here, and this is, we just recently received the 1/1/2026 valuation report, so these numbers are kind of hot off the press. The funding percent ratio, which basically means, you know, we want this retirement plan to live for eternity, right? So that every sheriff's member can have a nice retirement. They're out there serving the community and risking their lives every day. So your funding percent is 124.4%. The actuarial assumption, so that basically means when we as the investment manager, that is kind of our bogey that we have to hit, right? From an investment perspective is 6.25. Our actual investment returns as of 12/31/2025 was 17.641%. Again, something that we're very proud of. The retirement plan assets as of 12/31/2025 were $8.836 million. Okay.
Question, are those fees before, are those percentages before or after fees?
They are net of fees.
They're what?
Net of
Net,
fees.
okay.
Yes, yes. The summary for the period ending 12/30/25 plan year, 25 plan year, last year was $210,278. Service of process fees that are submitted, $16,961.88. And then employee contributions, that is money coming out of the employees' paychecks, $49,100.07. For a total there of $276,339.95. The retirement plan demographics. So in 23 active participants, retirees receiving benefits are 8 for both 25 and 26. So no new retirees at this point coming down the pike. And then annual benefits paid are for 2025, 178 for 2026. These for 2026. Second page is the benefit plan. So obviously the bulk of the money is in the retirement plan. That's where all retirement benefits are paid from. The benefit plan is the smaller plan, and that is where any disability or spousal benefits are paid. Okay, so and again, those amounts are a lot smaller. Same parties, Davies County Sheriff's Merit Board, employer, the Davies County Sheriff's Department. We are the investment manager on that plan as well. And then McCready, October 3 is the actuary on that plan. The funding percentage ratio is 100%. That's always going to be 100%. Same actuarial assumption there from McCready, that 6.25. Market return, 17.64. Balances in that benefit plan were at 12/31/2025 were $366.77.82. Contributions, $18,739. And then the demographics there, you have one person that is receiving either survivor or disability benefits of $2,400. That's what we have to report.
How long do they have to serve to be eligible for the retirement plan?
So they,
Listed at 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
yeah,
It used to be 8, but we bumped it up to 10. So
Thank you.
there's several. We used to just have one method of retiring, I guess is what you would call it, but now we have
Yeah, age
There's
comes
the
into
drop
play.
program now. So,
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay,
thanks.
well, thank you. We'll see you next year.
Somebody receiving.
BZA board appointment, who is that?
I don't know, 'cause
Hey, Gary, real quick question. So we've got 24 active participants, or 20, 26, 23, and then we've got 8 that are receiving benefits. What's the difference between a participant and somebody receiving benefits?
Participants are current employees that are paying into the plan.
So only
We
23?
only got
or-
24 deputies.
That's it?
Yeah.
No other, okay.
Yeah, and the 8 retirees are, and then Ruth Barley, Leo Barley's wife, is the 2,400.
Okay.
She gets 200 a month. But there's only 8 people drawing on it.
Yeah.
January 1, there's gonna be 9.
No.
Can we vote on that?
Now, this is just for the merit deputies, right?
Right,
Your
this is
other
just-
employees over there all pay in like the rest of us.
For the rest, as county
Right.
employees?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All the county
for the
employees
merit
are on perf, right? Y'all are on perf.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, 1977, the state came out with the 77 police and fire plan. Sheriffs got exempted from that, and there's 92 different retirement policies throughout the state. Sheriffs, I don't know why. I was 11, so. But we got the end of state police. They have their own. They're not a part of the 77 police. They're on their own.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Next up, we have a BZA board appointment. Jeremy Tooley was on that, but had to leave because he could be on 2 different places at the same time. So we need to put that on our agenda to come up with someone.
So we'll table that for this discussion.
Table it and try to get someone. Next up, Sally Ordens, Circuit Court Reporter.
Morning, Judge.
Judge?
Judge Smith?
All right, well, there's always one problem child, and it's me this time. I know after SB 1, we're all looking at tightening the belt. I'm at a point where, with what's been going on in our court system, you know, we've got a new judge, former prosecutor, ethically, certain things that Judge Murray can't do. Our local rules are set up so those cases come to me first. If I can't do them, they go out to our administrative district, just like everybody else. So, long and short is we're kind of treading water, if not drowning. We've got 808 cases came over since March the 9th. That was as of March the 9th. Now, that's on top of the other 3,400 to 3,500 cases that Circuit Court does every year anyway. Because I'll kind of give you a little historical background. When I started, and as my son, who's an attorney, jokingly says it, when they first came out with the 10 Commandments, but it wasn't that long ago. Circuit Court did most of the higher felony counts. Then when we got a county court became a superior court, it did like what we call D felonies and misdemeanors and traffic below. Over the years, that got kind of turned around, and as we got a superior court, if you recall, years ago, Judge Arthur was in. He had a health incident. He was out for a while. Things started getting pushed over to Judge Dwyer's Superior Court. And so as years evolved, almost all criminal went through Superior. Very little in Circuit. Circuit had basically everything else, probate, collections, medical malpractice cases, personal injury cases, all that, mortgage foreclosures. And that was kind of by local rule. And as courts, we have to submit quarterly reports to the state. They look at what they call the weighted caseload study, which is not particularly accurate because it doesn't count certain things, okay? So every time there's a dissolution case with children, you know, most judges realize in family court that you're probably going to have that case for the next 19 years. Every time there's something filed about modifying child support, parenting time, visitation, those things don't get counted on the weighted caseload study. even though you have to have hearings and you have to budget time and do those things. So, but the way it worked was our numbers kind of balanced and the caseload balanced, and it kind of worked. And then, surprisingly, then, for good reason, Judge Sebecki decided to retire. Judge Murray came in, and having been a prosecutor, there's just, our rules of ethics say he just can't handle certain things. We tried different things at first. We tried senior judges and special judges, and then somebody pointed out, well, your ethical rules say that if this judge has a conflict and he appoints the senior judge, they have that conflict. So we went back to the local rules, and they started coming over. And it's working. I mean, Judge Murray's got in there, and he's got down to the brass tacks, and he's got figured out what's flowing and what's not. We're taking it on. That's my duty. I don't see, we got to do that. They do it for us. So the courts are working, and the good thing is working is that we have 2 new great courtrooms, 2 new jury rooms, so we can do jury trials at the same time. And we've been doing that, and our prosecutor, Ms. Brown's, done a great job on just trying to get things set and get things moving and try to get through this backlog. So historically, that's where it's coming from. We're getting now probably it's about a third to half of what our other caseload would be that we have to work through, and I still have those. And you got to remember, both Judge Murray and I also have other cases we've got to do in other counties because they get conflicts and they get sent out, and we have to take those. And because in about 3 weeks I got to go to Knox County to do a jury trial. So on top of all those things, we've got those issues. I was coming before you guys, I think 3 years ago, saying I probably need a 5th court reporter, but I knew the remodel was coming up, so we put that on hold and said, ask you to just wait. And then I had it in my budget, I think, each year, and just said table it because that. And now we're at a point where we've had this issue and these. So it started out in, let's see, mostly in earnest in 24. The last part of 2024, we had 325 cases come over, and all through 2025, another 407 cases. And I will tell you, the prosecutor's office is working hard to help us work through those. I've looked through them. Some of them, we took a big chunk of some that were old, some there were defendants who were maybe minor felonies or misdemeanors, and we couldn't find them, and some of them were deported, some of them had ICE holds on them elsewhere, and they were like 4- and 5-year-old cases, and they weren't violent, and they weren't sex offenses, so we set a little criteria and just got rid of a bunch. So we've worked through some of that, but I'm thinking of, my opinion, looking through what's coming up, it's going to be 2 to 3 years to work through that backlog. And I've talked to the prosecutor about her position. I'm not sure exactly where we're at on our local rules have to be revamped. And I think if I were the prosecutor's shoes in our discussions, we've looked at maybe doing more criminal filing in both courts. Superior Court will probably largely still be the main criminal court, but certain things will get filed in circuit court, so that we have to set, maybe a week, a month for a criminal jury trial week, set some other things. Because, for 2 reasons. This part of this backlog we're talking about, it's not just because of the conflicts. There was COVID, okay? That was a real problem. If you look back through some of the docket sheets, you can see where things just had to get set and moved and bumped, and so that accumulated some. And then the conflict part, okay, that's just inevitable. That had to be done. So looking at the other issue is that you have basically one court doing the criminal jury trials. We were doing all the civil and the civil jury trials. Civil jury trials typically get, for the large part, biggest percentage are going to get worked out. They're going to get settled. They're going to go to mediation. They're going to go to arbitration. So a lot of times they move slower, but they typically get settled. But the workload's still been pretty steady over the last few years, just on that civil load. And now with 800 plus cases coming in, we were treading water there. So, and here's the other part of it. I have basically under circuit court, we're running 2 courts. So just years ago, you guys were good enough to give us the referee court. And that was in response to, Judge Murray was prosecutor Murray at the time, but was to help with the paternity child support division for the prosecutor's office. So we were able to then give them more time to set up things to help collect delinquent child support, to establish paternity and take care of all those issues, and we get money back on part of that. Then I took on some small claims that Superior Court had when I first came in. Got certain ones, they still got certain ones, and the referee handles most of those now, so that helps move things. Like Superior Court was, when I came in, they were so backlogged. If you were a landlord and you needed an eviction, you weren't going to get in for 6 months to 9 months. We got that down to, you can file, you're going to get into 30 to 45 days depending on service issues. So that helped a lot. That helped that end of things, plus other little disputes that are handled. So I've got a court reporter who follows the referee, and that's 4 to 5 days a week for just covering the 2 to 3 days a week that the referee has to work. Because the court reporter job is more, you see on TV that somebody goes in and they're sitting there typing, or they're making record, or they're handling an exhibit for an attorney, and you think that that's all they do. That's not what they do. Because for every time you're sitting in the courtroom, then you got to go back and you got to make record, and you got to make docket entries, you got to send notices for each and every case. And then there's the administrative part, the budgets and the quarterly reports and the other reports that have to go into the state. So jury administration. Every time once a year, our jury administrators have to call 1,500 jurors. We get a list from the state, and we send out a notice. Lucky you're on the jury, and then you may get called. Then when the trial's set and it's going to go, notice goes out, and you get another questionnaire, send this in. Sometimes they're special questionnaires. The state may ask sex cases particularly. There's a special set of questionnaires. It has to go out. So mail and postage and the time it takes our jury administrator to do that is time that they're not able to do anything in court and making record. So I've got one going, following the referee. Got one tied up for most of that because we've been doing setting juries. Now, we've had 3 or 4 this year, 2 or 3 that got bumped, pled out last minute, or something blew up and they had to get reset. So every time you do that, then you got to call it off, and you got to send out other notice and get hold of everybody and say, don't show up for that trial. It's not going to happen. So that takes a lot of time. That gets me down to where basically I've got 2, and if one's out sick or one's on vacation, I've got 1. Now, Superior Court's always kind of had 5. They haven't filled it, and Judge Murray hasn't filled it this year because of this transition, and I think he's kind of waiting. And they need 5, and they're going to need 5 in future years, in my opinion. Judge Murray may have different ideas now. I'm not speaking for him, but they're always so busy, and I think the prosecutor files 2,000 to 3,000 criminal cases a year, so if a big chunk of those go in there, and those are still going, guys, even though I've got some of this old chunk, and some of these cases date back 3, 4, and 5 years, there's still new cases coming through, and there's still new cases coming through in circuit court. So that's kind of where we're at, and why I'm asking for this at this time. Questions?
Judge Smith has shared information with me last evening on the dashboard, the circuit court dashboard. Very complicated, actually, for me looking at it. But a couple questions for you. Is there, you have the right to a speedy trial or whatever. What is some of these are 3, 4 years old, you're saying. Are we out of compliance on that, or how does it work?
No, I think we're probably, like most counties, and especially most counties our size, we're probably about the same. Again, a lot of that COVID, for 2 years, COVID stopped everything, slowed everything down. You couldn't get things set. Other things are that, and there's some attorneys, I won't name names, but from surrounding counties anyway, that were just notorious about getting in it and then just hiding and not doing anything and not showing up. And so they kind of get moved through the system and reset and reset. Other times it may be a defense strategy that I'm not in a hurry to get this to trial.
No problem really for us to leave them out there.
No.
How about the position on the third court for our county? Is there any movement on that?
Well, when we went last time, which was not the time this time, but the time before, there was one particular senator, you guys may know, out of Fort Wayne area, that I think totally, completely misunderstands courts and court systems and doesn't have an idea. Her theory was, if you get a court, you lose a court. So to me, that's like if you need a police officer and you hire one, then you have to lose one. You need more teachers, so you get teachers, but you have to lose some. They wanted to use these and part of this is, I'm on the board of the Judicial Conference and the Indiana Judges Association for our districts, so I got to go to all those meetings and hear those things. But they want to use the weighted caseload study that was helped develop by the National Center for State Courts, and they use these numbers and they don't understand them. One of the legislators I heard goes, okay, well, if you have a 1.0, that means you got one judge too many then, right? No, 1.0 means you're, under the weighted caseload means you're at where you should be. In reality, 1.0 means you probably need another half judicial officer or judge because it doesn't count all those refilings, those redocketings. Like some of these numbers, Tom, I didn't get a chance to send you the one. There's two different reports. There's that dashboard, but as you saw, it only went through 24. 25 figures aren't certified yet, but our quarterly reports, when they go in, I'm going back through and I'm looking, and it says there's differences in one of those reports in the numbers, and it's because if there's outstanding warrants, they don't count them in this one. I have no idea why that is, but you think statistically it still shows a case even though there's a warrant out for it. So some of those 800 cases we got, several of those have warrants out for them. These people took off, prosecutor asked for a warrant, they got a warrant, it's outstanding. Some of them have to be sent back in and reissued, and they're good for forever basically on felony warrants. So, but they're telling you, hey, those aren't counting in your numbers. But the court system, I think we tried to come up with a metric to show legislators, because they come in, they meet, they only do this once every 2 years, and then you get one senator says, well, we gave you courts 2 years ago. Well, why do you want more courts? And it seems like the only ones that get courts are Fort Wayne, Marion County, and Hamilton County, and that's magistrates. So we didn't apply this last time. I think we're waiting back to see what happens. There's been a pretty good response in going in and getting kind of our judges' representation on their committee to say, here's how you got to look at these numbers, and realize that these numbers are a metric, but they underreport what courts are actually doing. They don't overreport, and this is how they work. And trying to get some of the senators and representatives to come forward and go, yeah, okay, we get it. And when we applied last time, and you guys all know this, and you should be proud of this, is there was 2 counties in all of Southwest Indiana that were projected to grow in the 10 years. I had to put all the census information together in those numbers, and it was Davies County and DuBois County. Only once. And we showed them all that. We showed them the numbers, and we showed them our case numbers. We were like, actually, we were in the same position as Huntington, Indiana, and the judge there shared with me what he did, and they got their referee to a magistrate, same thing. But when you go in, on our numbers, they look at it and they go, you have a judicial officer and you have another referee, that's a judicial officer, so you don't need one. So they counted against us is the problem. Now, 2 years before that, they didn't on some of the courts. And then this time they did, and then it really blew up this last time. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but that same senator, when some of the courts were asking for magistrates and get some things done, I think Bedford finally got theirs, and they were well overdue. DuBois County is way overdue, and they got shot down. But they finally come in and said, this same senator, she sponsored a bill eliminating 18 courts, almost all of them in southwest Indiana. So Greene County was going to lose their Superior Court, Gibson County was going to lose their Superior Court, all the way through Jennings County and all down through here. We weren't, but we were on the list, on the chopping block. And it's just because it's just some kind of little political battle. When we presented, that same senator asked me, because I do the Chin's cases here, it turned out that her axe with the grind was she was mad at DCS. And over some dispute she had with some constituent. And so kind of disappointing that that's how the legislature works, but that's how it works. But we're not done. We will go back, and I think when we get through this and sort through it, because our numbers are going to greatly fluctuate, Superiors will change because of the conflict situation. But, you know, guys, 3 years down the road, that's going to balance out. Now, Judge Murray, having been a prosecutor for so long, there's going to be conflicts on certain things. For example, when he first went in as prosecutor, if he was the prosecutor and now you got somebody that's arrested and charged and they've got, you know, prior felonies and the state needs to file habitual, they might have a conflict with that, so that he can't hear. And so we do those things. And not only do these cases get transferred, and I've transferred some to Judge Murray to kind of help balance. He's been saying, give me what you can, you know, we'll keep it moving. And we also do things like if he's not available or it's just a temporary thing, they've tried to get people to waive the conflict, which they can do. But they have to talk to their lawyers or consider it themselves. And if they waive, then Judge Murray gets to stay on. If they don't, then it gets sent out. So there's some cases, though, where the people haven't signed, they haven't got the notice about waiver. So I just go in and serve as pro tem for Superior Court. And then I can process some orders and do some things like that in addition to these.
Tom and I met with, you know, Judge Murray because he has an opening and not filled. But after that discussion, we felt best to go ahead and do this as an additional appropriation and leave Judge Murray's spot in case he needs to fill it, leave that money in there.
Well, to keep us balanced for this year, and
Yep.
we can budget it for next year if we need to.
So, any other questions for the judge?
Just on pure simplicity, again, I don't know what the total caseload is between both courts, and what that would average between court reporter, in terms of, but in simplistic terms, it would be, okay, if we're transferring 800 plus cases, then why wouldn't we just transfer one court reporter with those cases, from Superior to Circuit? Is that?
That's basically what we're.
I mean, and I understand with what you're doing there, that makes sense. But I mean, but just when I initially looked at it, that was my initial reaction is, okay, let's just transfer one reporter over with that caseload.
Well,
But
maybe honest, that was ours until we met with,
I think
Judges and-
Superior is growing in numbers too, but this is a good solution in the midterm to get that one going and then reevaluate for the end of the year for the Superior Court, so. And Dan is building a lot of analytics for us.
Okay.
He shared a few of those, so I think that's gonna be important in our decision.
Okay.
I think they're both growing in caseload, so I think this is a good solution for that.
Well, I think even if, on my court, even if the civil end stays the same, you know, it grows just a little bit like it has, like plus or minus 100 cases, the criminal load and any new criminal that the prosecutor wants to file when we adjust rules for filing, it's going to change. And you know how it is.
Really?
The county grows and things go and litigation happens. And
really the guys behind you in the brown, they keep,
if they would just stop
they
arresting,
keep bringing you business.
I keep telling them if they would just stop and DCS would stop snatching children, I could.
If you look at it from going back to when COVID hit, I know that was all for county government. COVID was a big change, but for the courts in particular. And then we had to switch from Judge Murray went from prosecutor to judge, and you said 2 to 3 more years. That's almost an entire decade that our court system is going to spend catching up, starting with COVID going through this change. So
Well,
been busy.
And, you know, going through the remodel, that
Yeah,
kind of
that-
slowed
yeah.
some things down in our ability to do hearings.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what everybody did, but I still call it my hearing closet that was downstairs because, you know, we had that little room that got made and that was tough. And a lot of things, you know, a lot of attorneys were continuing things I started noticing because facilities and they didn't know where they were at, if they were going to be at the top of the jail for a criminal hearing, or they were going to be over here for something else, or doing trials in here. Worked out pretty good, but tried not to do that a whole lot. And we had the referee working in here, so that kind of slowed some things down. And now we're still catching up with that. Things are starting to flow, and I really think with the great layouts we've got, with the 2 courts being able to do jury trials at the same time, which we've not been able to do in almost my entire career. We tried it once. We tried it when Judge Sebeki was in. He and I Fortunately, that's when one of the offices had already moved out, so we had an empty room that we could use, but it was pretty chaotic. People out in the halls and down in the main lobby and trying to keep who's on what jury straight and keep people separated.
Going down the road, if we get some of these caseloads worked down, is it possible that you guys could share a reporter if we get some of this caseload worked down?
Yeah, and where we saw that, and I think Judge Murray's on board on that, was if we can get the magistrate, if we can get that referee position converted to a magistrate so that it's state paid and can be full-time, then I think we can each share a court reporter to follow the magistrate, and then still have one or two that can go back and forth from each court.
Makes sense.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But we're kind of waiting to see the flavor changes up north with the legislature, and I think with the new composition, I think this summer coming up is the first summer where they're able to get some of the people on board, where they're all meeting, and now you've got judicial like the Indiana Judges Association's represented, and the board of directors of the Judicial Conference are represented, and people from the courts. Before, courts tried to stay neutral, so even every time courts were asking for a magistrate or a new court at the legislature, they had to stay out of it. They couldn't say, yeah, that county should get it and that county should get it. My position was, I just thought, we're all adults, just tell us if you think we should get one, or you think we should come back in 2 years because we're not close enough, do that. But they didn't. That year they just shut everything down, and then last year they kind of shut everything down and gave a couple courts to some of the the usual counties, and then turned around and had a bill coming through trying to do away with 18 courts in southern Indiana.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge. Next up's the Wage Committee. Wage Committee consists of Tom Maryland.
We need a motion.
Well, no, we're gonna do that in appropriations.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we got the other appropriations down there too, so we'll do it at that time.
Okay.
Wage Committee consists of Tom, Marilyn, Matt, and myself. Marilyn, and you have dates that you want to send us to give us options.
Yes, so we would like to try to work towards getting a budget taken care of in August. We would like to propose August 12th as the budget and regular business. The week of August 18th, one of those dates is using for your work sessions, and August 27th as the potential date for adoptions this year.
You'll email that to us.
I can email it back out, but we would like to try to tentatively get those put in stone so we can try to start working toward those dates and get that stuff too.
So you want answers this week?
Please.
Okay. Got a homework assignment. Abatement application. Don't know if Bob or
We got a team.
gentleman behind you.
Morning, everybody. Bob Greeley, Economic Development. I have an abatement application before you. Jill and I go out and meet with a lot of companies routinely. We've met with Jeremy Wagler and his team a number of times, and every time we're more amazed about the innovation, entrepreneurship, the things that their company's doing. They've got a new project now that they're looking at there at the exit at 58 and I-69. It's unique, it's exciting. I think it's going to be a great anchor for that development area there at the exit. We've shared the application material with you that speaks to investment in real and personal property. But I'm going to ask Carly Cross and Jeremy if they want to come up and maybe share a little bit more insight about the uniqueness of manufacturing that's dovetailed with training opportunities and a host of other maybe nuances that maybe isn't clear in the application package. So do you want to join us here?
So I'm not a great speaker or anything, but Bob invited me down this morning. But basically, bought some property out there at I-69 and 58 2 years ago now, and the grand plan was doing a truck stop out there. We soon found out that NDOT isn't going to allow any of that out in that area, so I set up my own traffic study, got my cameras running, so a lot of people ask why there's cameras out there. That's doing our own traffic study because we needed that for the state. And in the meantime, we keep on growing at the shop. So change of plans, I had a 5-year plan. It expedited to immediately. We got a government contract that needs parts made and large parts. We was gonna sub all those parts out and do the small ones that we could take, and everyone's busy. Every machine shop that had the capabilities of doing it is swamped with SpaceX parts. So everything that SpaceX has on the books is overtaking what the Navy needs. So basically, we ordered a machine in January. It's getting delivered. It was supposed to be delivered Monday, and I pushed it back till next Monday, and we're out there trying to build a building and put a machine in place to help support the naval base. So we are at this point, and Bob said we should have probably started this before. I haven't had time. Everything's been under the gun trying to get parts done. We got a May 31st deadline to have parts delivered. We're going to be pushing day and night to get that done. But basically, here to set up a new facility. We're moving our hose shop out there now, and in the real near future, have a area to train young kids right out of high school or during high school. We're working with Twin Rivers Vocational. Each high school has they try to develop a machining area in each high school. Some of them has started it, some of it haven't. I've been talking to Ty Free to talk to him quite a bit he's with Twin Rivers now, but basically I said, how can we fix this? So we went to North Davis board, we met with them. Basically there's no funding for high schools for that. So, or it's very, very small, and then they have to find a person to teach. So what we're trying to do is put together, we can house a machine shop, but then have an entity involved right there with training. So one part of the building is going to be for Twin Rivers. He'll be able to, Brandon Small from Vincennes is going to be able to bring in 12 to 13 high schools in the surrounding area, get those kids in there during the day. And my goal is, and I've been talking to Bob and Jill, basically, how can we show kids from the start to finish projects, ordering material, doing the engineering of the design or reading prints from the government, taking it from the step one to the finished step of delivering parts. And my goal, real true go is basically have kids be able to see how to run a business within our business, but have their own section. So Bob's been helping me. We're getting some game plans together, but we have the Education and Training Center at Greene County. Haven't decided yet. I know part of it is going to move into this new building because we're moving all the machines and everything in there, but it's expanding, growing into multiple counties right now, and it's outgrowing Greene County, but we can't really step into Davis County until there's regions. I think regions are in voting right now. I've been involved in several meetings with that, but basically Davis County is in a different region than Greene County, so we're in Greene County region. So I think that comes up to vote in the next year, maybe two.
Right.
So this building has potential for multiple things. It sounds probably chaotic to you guys just as much as to us, but right now we're moving our machine shop and our business. Our focus is we have several new contracts. We're making drone parts, anything from drone parts to equipping engine-powered vehicles for military. So we're working towards that. Hopefully everything, the politics of the government right now is getting crazy, but they're putting a lot of funding towards small businesses in the community. So we're in a small community. I'm hearing the judge talk about all the issues of all the court stuff. My goal is to train locals, not bring in people that can't speak like English, and we want local people being trained and actually bring them in and put them to work instead of trying to find a lot of the community, and I don't know if everyone realizes this, but a lot of the community is trying to find the Mexican community, the Haitians to bring into this community. In my opinion, that's not what we need, and that's not helping these guys' case either. I think we should try to help our kids and our families right here. So, and my goal is to help the community give back, and hopefully we can win some contracts and get the building up and fast as we can, so.
Told you it was exciting. A lot going on.
Anything
Yeah.
I've
I'll kind of piggyback off of Jeremy. Currently, Wagler Competition has around 22 employees, and the goal is with the new facility, more government contracting that we do get and we're awarded, that is going to increase employment opportunities with the new county. We kind of have a goal in mind, and within the first 5 years, we think maybe that'll grow 25%, and then potentially could go up to 50% growth in employment. So that's a big piece for us too, is, we have to attract local talent as well as train them to be able to meet the goals for the government contracting that we do.
It's tough right now. Small businesses trying to hire help. It's been hard. I think it's in the need right now to get people trained up and equipped with all the work that the tech park is bringing out. Any questions that you guys have?
I have a specific question for you on the application itself.
Yep.
You have manufacturing equipment this is for the personal property.
Yeah.
And you have current values, $2 million, estimated value of proposed project, 1.5 million. Those two on there. And then it has net estimated on completion, 5 million. Is there something missing there? Because all the other ones add up to the bottom line, but that one doesn't.
So, and I was gonna meet with Bob on making sure we completed it correct. So what we're missing is, there's a lot of new things that are coming in, and like the machine that's landing next Monday is 1.2 million with no tooling, nothing to support it. So basically, there's a lot of things missing, so those numbers.
Estimated or?
We really need to update them as we go. So
Okay.
within weeks, it's gonna be updated. It will, and if you guys have questions, please forward them to Bob and I, and we can update it, but it's rapidly changing every day.
But always going higher.
Yes, by far, yeah.
Because we currently have 12 CNC machines.
What's the, when you take that machinery and you depreciate it, what's the normal depreciation schedule for equipment, the type of equipment that you're dealing with?
These machines, they depreciate slowly.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, like a machine that we've purchased 12 years ago, 13 years ago, it still has probably 25% of its value. So, it's not like a car where it depreciates really fast. Machines, as long as you don't crash them, they're valued, they stay valued. So, very good on that part.
Oh, that's depreciated value versus life of the equipment too, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, you're still gonna get another 15, 20 years out of that equipment.
Yeah, as long as you have good help and don't crash. One crash can cost a machine though.
Absolutely.
Terrible, but for the most part, we got good guys running them. We're constantly trying to add. We got laser scanning equipment. A lot of the community doesn't realize what we do out there. We're in a pole barn in Davis County, so we don't advertise, we don't do anything, but it's a lot of neat stuff going on, and we're flying around doing wild projects everywhere. So, but a lot of neat, and more to come.
Bob, when would you say that you started working on this project?
Well, like I said, we try to get out every year, and so I think, maybe 2 years ago, it was an idea floating around, and then the last time we met, it began to firm up. And I think, as Jeremy noted, all of a sudden, all these things started to align, and they just had to go. So that was sort of the evolution of this.
I think that's what we're seeing at Westgate now with a lot of the companies coming in. They're coming in hot, and so things are changing rapidly, so.
And some of it you can't even put timelines on. It's like they want it.
Get it yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of scary, but let's hope things keep rolling.
Any other questions?
Are you?
Just a
Yes.
comment, I love what you're doing for the kids. That's
Okay,
awesome.
thank you.
Yes, love
And
that.
that's a passion of mine. That's not,
Yes.
yeah. I didn't go to college and went to Twin Rivers Vocational, and it's kind of
There's such a need for
Yeah,
that
there is,
type
yeah.
of skill, yes.
a lot of kids that don't want to go sit in college for 8 years. So, but there's needs for that.
And I think that dovetails well with, I've been in a lot of meetings where I've heard people talk about the pathways that the state has brought into the high schools, excuse me, where they're trying to develop lanes for high school kids to get involved with without having to go to a 2-year or 4-year college. They're trying to get technical things for them where they can go right into the workforce when they get out of high school. And I think that fits right in with what the state's trying to do in education.
We have 3 interns right now from high school, so they're coming in half days, and I feel like it's really, I think it's starting to affect a little bit of the attendance problem at the local high schools though, so I don't know what that's going to do in the future. But as far as for a student to be able to go out and get a facility and actually see what that's like before you go to college, I think that's huge.
And I like the idea not to be too competitive, but we've always thought Davies County was a great place to have a business and to work and so forth. And you can bring some business here from another county. I think that's a good thing too.
You got a question?
Jeremy, are you seeking the standard 10% over 10 years, 10% a year?
That's what, with the model we ran, but you know, you all have the ability to modify that.
What do you guys recommend? This is the first time
I think for the real property, that's a kind of a no-brainer. We've been doing that, but the rules have changed on the personal properties. I think in January of 25 it changed. So that's something we have to look at. That's why I asked you about the depreciation of the equipment, because there's no 30% floor anymore on depreciation of equipment. It can go down to salvage value, which can be 10% or whatever.
Yeah.
So that really impacts the county on tax revenue. So that's something we'll have to look at on the personal property side.
And another thing, Carly and I was talking about on the way down, you look at the wages that we put down, the wages are low right now in what I feel like we should be paying, but we've always focused on automotive. Automotive is nowhere near what the government pay scale is, so our wages should go up dramatically towards that if we can get the contracts that we're writing on right now. So that's why I said it's kind of an open book on this form. It's going to change. We know that.
So you want to table this until we figure out exactly what we're going to do on the personal side?
I think we probably need to have a discussion on that.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely think it's a great venture, and we're gonna do something. It's just we need to figure out exactly what. So, I mean, I think it's a fantastic program, and what you guys are doing is great for the community.
Yeah, and if we encourage you, if you guys ever want to come to the facility and kind of see what all we do, we are more than just technology. A lot of cool things happening within that pole barn, as Jeremy would say.
That's why I say we're
I've had the opportunity years ago. It's just been a few years since I've been there.
things have changed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We keep adding on. That's why I decided this whole program has changed in this last month. Flew to Texas and steel building structure that we're trying to get all put up and everything. Basically, my goal was 5-year plan. Well, that pushed, like you said, the government stuff is they need it now. So that changed our plans. I told my wife, hopefully the government doesn't just all of a sudden say, "Nope, we don't need you guys." We was waiting at 8 o'clock last night. No, it is. It's good. It's good for the community. And I've told Bob this several times. He asked about moving to the tech park out there. I had thought about moving up to the tech park, but I kind of wanted to stay in our little area. And at that intersection, it's easy on, easy off the interstate. Very busy out there. So, yeah.
Price of the real estate up there maybe
It was
deterred you a little bit?
It was about the same. Yeah. The real estate anywhere is going crazy right now.
Yes,
so.
it
Yeah,
is.
just a separate question on your building site there. What did you do for water and sewage?
So I'm working with Cash Wagner on septic system. They already approved a septic system. So the design is turned in. They've done soil sampling and everything. We have 2 options on water. I've basically, for the short term, it already has a well. So Moomal out of Lyons has already said he tested it. It's good. They're going to run trench or do the underground because that creek goes right there.
Yep.
The well is the existing homestead there. So we're using water from the well until Odin gets their plant complete out there. I don't want to get in the middle of that
Yeah,
right now
I was
because
just
there's a lot
curious.
of So water is well water. Septic system is, there's a mound that they okayed. Power is kind of unique. We're bringing in RMC, but we have had tremendous, that's probably one of the main reasons I'm moving. We thought we was going to get onto Duke Power out there, so we found out we're not getting onto Duke Power, and I've mentioned this to Bob several times. So anytime you have a weather storm, whether it's lightning, wind, whatever, RMC Power is dirty power, very dirty. So when we're running machines, every time there's a storm, every employee is standing around and shutting their machines off because we know it's going to crash. So this new facility, we have to stay with RMC, which I'm not excited about, but we're putting in a unit to where generator and solar, it's all combined. So it's a complete switchboard. So I didn't put any of that in here. It's very expensive, but I look at it in long term. Power is number one thing for us. So we're going to have solar, backup, batteries, generator, diesel generator that we already build engines for, and RMC. So it'll be able to convert, and we'll be able to program it, and we can manually switch it. If a storm's coming in, we can switch it to our battery or generator and keep running. So
Yeah, that equipment's pretty sensitive.
It
so you
is.
want clean power. I get it.
And I don't know how much you guys hear from the community, but it's not just us fighting it. There's dirty power in Davis County is bad. For example, when the semi hit the power line at Plainville, it smoked about $20,000 worth of stuff and computers and all kinds of stuff. Power line from Plainville, Indiana, takes a wire down, it goes back to the transformer, it goes down the line, and we're at the end of the three-phase, and it zapped right. It's expensive. Yep. So we're trying to get away from that. I was hoping, everyone claims Duke has better power out there, but we cannot get on it. Hoosier is tied up with RMC, so see how it is. We're closer to the substation though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to table for today with a lot of optimism for working with you in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Second by Tom, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Objections?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't get appropriations, Laura? Hello?
Good morning.
Yesterday about all of these on here, well, the opioid ones, but I'll hit on the IRAX one real quick. These are just funds that were already there, and they just needed reappropriated to keep State Board of Accounts happy and keep everything flowing correctly. So that was a bill that was paid in January, and we're just doing the appropriation for that. I also want to touch on that account, the 4112, the IRAX. Now that they have their own established bank account and they're not Daviess County employees, they're not a Daviess County entity, I'm going to transfer that money to them because I don't feel like Daviess County needs to manage that fund anymore. That was from the beginning when they first started, and I think there's a little less than $4,000 remaining in that, so I'm just going to transfer that out so Daviess County doesn't have to deal with that anymore. So
Which one was that?
the 4112, the IRAX fund. They have no remaining funds
Oh, I see. I see it.
in any of the bank accounts here, auditor's office. This is the remaining one, so just kind of want to
Just
clear that out of the county's queue.
make sure they're happy back here.
Yes, yeah, it'll be a conversation that we've kind of led up to that. I think I've talked to Ellen about it a little bit, and I'll talk to Misty and Jen just to
There's
make sure it's all good to.
some things that can and can't be done, as you know, so that's why.
Yes.
Sure.
I'll make sure before. And then all the opioid appropriations are just reappropriations from last year that were approved. It was the balance at the end of 2025 and those appropriations, and so just reappropriated the balance for 26 to get those spent if they needed to be spent. So that's nothing, no new requests on any of those.
The 11,794 as well as the 6,200,
Yes,
both of them.
yeah, the restricted was the JRAC training fund, and then all the unrestricted, the repair and maintenance was the remaining amount the sheriff's department had in their appropriation, and then equipment maintenance was the probation, equipment maintenance, kiosk maintenance, and the furniture and equipment was the DCS remaining balance that they had after that. I think it was $4,000 originally that they had available, so just wanted to reappropriate those, just so it didn't seem like there was that amount available.
So if we're looking at our sheet, we're looking at the $125, 11,794.22, and also reappropriating the 6,215.08.
I had those questions yesterday, and she fulfilled those, because some of the questions I had was, why is this showing up?
Yeah.
Again, we're buying new equipment, but it's, maintenance, and it'll be a little bit less every year as she does it, but it's for full disclosure, correct?
Yes.
So, yeah, no, it's good.
I would move to approve those 3 claims.
I will second that.
Motion by Mike, second by Matt, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Except I have $7,000 from County Commissioners contract for ditching. Questions for anybody? Motion to approve by Matt, second Marilyn, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ambulance service, we've already done that. This is just has to be appropriated.
Motion to approve.
I'm sorry?
Motion to.
Motion by Marilyn,
Second.
second by Tom, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Court reporter, 49,135. We've talked about this, and this includes the rest of them on there. It would be the court reporter, the health insurance, furniture, fixture, social security, and perf. Everything that Judge Smith talked about, all those are in one item.
About $80,000 or close to that, I guess.
About 90.
90,000. I'll move to approve position.
We also need to make sure that motion includes the fact that we can adjust the salary ordinance. Because no motion was made earlier, so we have to do the salary
And
ordinance.
include that we can adjust it.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will second that motion.
Tom and Matt, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. What's next? That included all of that.
Yeah.
Health.
Morning, counselors. The health department had an unexpected vaccine refrigerator to malfunction. Had some electrical problems. We then had a compressor that went bad. Our vaccine requires 24/7, 365 refrigerator to freezer storage. Separating a vaccine, we have to have backups. It's very technical, but this vaccine refrigerator, we needed it as soon as possible. So Commissioner Keith was excellent to work with us and keep along the line of monitoring this. When we realized we needed to go ahead and order and pay for this, we requested from the state to dip into our restricted state funds that we've had and received that approval. I talked with Council President Dungeon about how we can go ahead and get this ordered. So worked with the auditor, everything was very smooth. We got it done, we've got it delivered, our vaccine is safe and now being monitored. And I just need these funds appropriated and we'll answer any questions.
Time was on the essence on that.
Yeah. When the other one quit, did we lose vaccine or what happened?
We did not. Luckily, we were here when it happened and not on a Sunday night at midnight. We have 24/7, 365 monitoring, so anytime the temperature dips up a tenth of a degree below where it should be, our phones go off, alarms happen, we get calls in the night. So we did not. We were able to store it appropriately in another refrigerator, but commingling a vaccine is very difficult to do. So we did not lose anything. The maintenance staff were great to help us coordinating, moving things with the electrical issues as well. So I think we're all good. We have adequate battery backup or surge protectors now. So I think we're good to go for hopefully another 10 years is their useful life generally. We did also take several quotes on a replacement, and we have bought a different brand than we had before, but it was the lowest and most responsive, so.
I saw you got a 35% discount on it. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, we're really glad to be able to save some money.
Make the motion to approve the request.
Motion by Tom, second by Mike Myers. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Both same sign. Thanks everybody for getting on that, and Commissioner Keith as well. Next up, we have West Boggs equipment repair as well as the West Boggs transfer down below of $4,000. There's no one here, but those are all non-taxpayers' dollars. That's within their budget, so I'll take a motion for that. So moved by Matt.
Second.
By Darren. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Both same sign. Same with local road and bridge match.
Move to approve.
Moved to approve by
Mike Sprinkle.
Mike Sprinkle, second by Marilyn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We also have in your packet, DCH Finance, Park Board minutes, and Excel spreadsheet of all balances by fund. Questions from anybody up here? Questions from anybody out there?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Matt, second by Tom. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And thank you, everyone.